And the flip side of that is you also want to make sure for it to be a good experience for you that you're doing enough homework to know that the program is offering what it is that you're interested in. So one of the other differences between undergrad versus graduate is that at the undergrad level, you tend to think in breadth. You have a major, and so you're studying somewhat deep in that major area, but there's quite a lot of other things that you're studying as well, more of your general education type requirements, that type of thing. At the graduate level, you can see that it's sort of like a funnel and it's starting to close in a little bit. At the master's level, you're going to be studying more discipline specific. At the doctoral level, you're going way deep and you're going for a narrow slice of what that very specific pieces that you're going to be adding to the discipline in terms of original research and study.
Any questions so far?
Okay, so point 2 then, when should you begin to think about graduate school? In our worldview, it's never too early to start thinking about graduate school. One of the things that you need to caution against is that you not pigeonhole yourself too much and keep yourself open. But it's not too early to start thinking about it. I know there were quite a few sophomores that had raised their hands. One of the things that's great about looking at it at that point is that you have time to build great relationships with your faculty members, to get some hands-on experience in terms of doing research, maybe to build in some cooperative co-op experiences, internships, that type of thing that can give you some more hands-on experience and some, really putting your toe in the water of the work that you think that you might want to be doing. It's a nice way to really kind of give yourself some experience that you can then use in your application to graduate school and in your decision-making about which way you want to go. That being said, if you're seniors and you're just now coming to this, it's not too late, so don't panic. It just gives you a little bit less time to work those things into your undergraduate education. Some of the things that also people will think about are prerequisite courses for a graduate degree. And again, depending on the program, different programs will have different prerequisite courses that they want you to have taken prior to making application to the program. Other programs will allow you to enter the program, but have a body of coursework that you're going to need to catch up, sort of to bring yourself up to speed.
And there are going to be some programs that, depending on the discipline, that you just can't apply for or to right out of undergrad programs. Particularly many MBA programs require a year of work experience. A lot of graduate programs in education require that you be teaching in the classroom prior to actually entering into a master's program. So in terms of a planning process, that's something else that depending on what graduate programs you might be looking at, how you might structure both the end of your undergraduate studies and then what you might be doing in between undergrad and grad programs.
And that sort of leads into the third point here in terms of what to look for in a graduate program. Well, it's true that there are some programs that will require you to have that work experience. Other programs don't require you to have it. And that's another one of those it depends kind of situations. So those are one of the questions that you want to ask when you're looking at different programs. What are the requirements for getting entrance into this program? Do you have to have a certain amount of work experience? Are there any prerequisite courses? Those types of things for you to be able to even look at whether you're eligible to apply for that program. Another piece is at what level of graduate study do you want to begin? On the blue sheet that you have here is a summary of some of the different graduate school options that are out there. What we start with is the post-baccalaureate certificate of graduate study, which is not a degree, it's just basically a certificate. It's a body of 4 to 6 courses usually that is around a corpus of knowledge that can allow someone to specialize in a certain field. Many times you'll see this associated with education. For instance, if you have someone who's got a teaching degree in elementary education and they want to do an endorsement on their certification for literacy, they may take a literacy certificate of graduate study, which is not a degree, but it gives them a body of knowledge there, and also may provide them some additional credentials that they can do. One of the drawbacks on a certificate of graduate study, but you always want to be looking at the pros and cons here. One of the drawbacks is that oftentimes these programs are considered non-matriculated, meaning that you may not be eligible for financial aid. So, you know, to some degree, the benefit of not having to go through the full-fledged application to graduate study has to be offset by whether or not you want to fund those courses yourself, or, you know, if you have a third party, you know, sometimes school districts will pay for your courses and whatnot. So you have to balance those things out. The other piece with a certificate of graduate study is oftentimes they're part of a master's degree. That coursework is actually a section of a master's degree. And oftentimes you can apply to the master's degree then and then bring in those 4 to 6 courses into your master's degree. So in some respects it's like getting a jump start on your master's.
Trying it out.
Yep, getting a toe in the water before you're fully committed to having to do the whole application. Be a lot less scary sometimes.
So in the next level, in terms of time commitment at least, would be master's degrees. And initially, master's degrees tended to be either a Master of Science or a Master of Arts. Those are the two traditional research-based master's degrees. In the past 50 years of graduate education, the number of different types of master's degrees has mushroomed, just expanded immensely. And so almost every professional discipline now has their own master's degrees, in addition to the Master of Science and Master of Arts, which are still offered in most of the research-based areas, which offer doctoral or PhD programs. There are professional degrees such as a Master of Business Administration, there's the Master of Social Work, Master of Public Administration, Master of Architecture, Master of Education. Just about any professional discipline or work environment you can work in has its own body of knowledge that's encompassed around a master's degree.